Hey guys, Logan here from Team Kingslayer Cards. Here to help out my buddy Devlin, and I'm gonna give you guys some deck profiles. In the future, this will probably be just the starting one. This is for Thorn, Luke here. Um, really fun deck in Pale Moon. I enjoy it, and I think the deck is heavily slept on. Um, Very thankful for Devlin letting me come out here and talk to you guys about this deck, as I've been playing it for a little over a year, I'd say. And unlike its standard counterpart, I think it's actually a viable deck and can definitely win games and could probably top a BCS if people were actually not scared to pilot it. So, without further ado guys, let's go ahead and get into the deck. Alright guys, so obviously my setup isn't as pro as Devlin, college student life, but we're going to make it work, and I'm going to show you guys how the deck starts. So, first off, we're going to play the V-Starter, because drawing a card is very important, and hand size matters in card games. Who'da knew? So, hand size is nice, quick shield, and Messiah ticket for going second. All very good. Spoilers, we do play the Messiah. I have seen lists play the Forerunner starters of the G era, and I just don't think it's worth it. You need to keep hand size in this format, and Pale Moon can keep very fake hands. That's always been their #1 problem. So to start out, we're going to go into the grade 3s. So to start, we play 4 copies of Venus Luquier. She is your best ride. All of the rides are fine, basically, going second at least. Because you just want a Luquier name. The only one we don't want to ride is the other one grade 3 we play. She is a Silverthorn, but she is not a Luquier, so your Luquier effect base names will not work, and that is a thing that comes up in this deck, as certain cards need Luquier. What Venus says is, counterblast 1, discard a card, and you call Silverthorns from your soul to your front row. And then she has a continuous, all your front row rear guards get 5k. It's kind of whatever. But you get to call a board for counterblast 1, discard a card, which is pretty good already in itself. And then at the end of the turn you do that effect, you put all of your rear guards into your soul, and if you put 4 more, you make an Excel. So she's your value engine, and she makes you a board. There's not much more you could really want from this card. She doesn't get big, but she's there. She's very important to the first grade 3 turn, because we don't have a premium collection stride, but I low-key don't think this deck needed it. So, because this deck can already make 3 Excels going first anyways. So, very good. Next, we play 2 V Luquiers. She's just a beat stick, really. That's the main reason we play her. She has Vanguard Rearguard Circle, gain 10k if 2 or more cards are recalled from your soul this turn. So she is a 22k beat stick on Van or rear, 90% of the time, as long as you're playing the game correctly, and you're not like top decking or anything. Then hers is kind of a worse version. Her counterblast skill, only on Vanguard Circle, it's kind of a worse version of Venus. It's CB2, discard a card, call Silverthorns with your call Silverthorns from your soul to everywhere on your board. So it's not just front row; it is everywhere. Every single circle you can call, and they all get 3k. So she's not awful. She's kind of heavy with CB2, but she's still not a bad card to say I can't stride and I need to make some sort of play to try to close the game out. She's definitely not bad for that. Like I said, main reason to be manly player though. She's 22k beat stick, 27 on Excel. So next we have the one of Luquier. This is reverse. She is a part of your 3 Excel turn going first. So she has the skill Vanguard Circle or Soul. Counterblast 1. Lock 3 rear guards with different grades. So you're going to lock your back row typically. Make sure there's just 3 different grade cards. And then you do one of 2 effects. If she's in your soul, you ride her as stand. so she produces an XL then, which is your second XL for the turn when you're on Venus. And if she is on your Vanguard circle, you call, I believe 3 to Rearguard circle from your soul. Yes, you call 3 Silver Thorns from your soul to Rearguard circle. Then she has a continuous. All your cards get 3k per lock card if your opponent's on grade 3. Keep in mind, they have to be on grade 3, so she could maybe sometimes come up against LJ. I wouldn't really know, to be honest. I haven't played against Breaker much with this deck. I know it's generally not fun because Excel decks versus Breaker kind of just cry, but we do what we can. Very good to make the 3 Excel turn, though. That's why we only play 1. And then the last grade 3, Dorian. This card is limited to 1 for a reason. Wow, this card is stupid. At the Vanguard Rearguard circle, at the end of the turn, put all your rearguards into your soul for her cost. And you, for every 2, draw a card. If you put 4 or more into your soul, you add a Silver Thorn with a grade 3 with Silver Thorn in its name from soul to hand. So if she's on Rearguard circle, she dies when she uses this effect. If she's on Vanguard circle, she's on Vanguard circle. But you don't want her to be on Vanguard circle. But there are ways to protect her. All of the end of turn effects proc at the same time. So if you're on Yvette and you called her off of Yvette and Yvette puts her back in, her effect still goes off and she won't die because she'll be in the soul. Next, we're going to get into the grade 2s. We play 3. I think her name's Maurice. I don't really. Marsica. I call her Green. That's about it. She is your best ride target, and that's about it. She's just a very good value ride. She is good on the Venus turn as well for helping you get like if you get only 1 damage, if you get damage denied, or like if they don't rush you. And she comes up sometimes to call cards out of soul to like give you extra numbers of rearguards for Dorian. That's the main value of this card. So on counterblast, on Vanguard circle, when placed, counterblast 1, soul charge 3. If you soul charged 2 or more cards with Silverthorn in their name, you draw a card. It's really rough for this deck to get going for soul if you don't see either this or a grade 1 I'll talk about later. Because your deck doesn't inherently soul charge, you're not like DI or anything. It's more of like tutoring in and out of the soul from tops of cards or using Vanguard effects. So you build soul really quickly if you see this in the grade 1 that I'm going to talk about shortly. But without it, you can kind of struggle a little bit. She also says when she's called by your Vanguard's ability from soul, you can call a grade 2 to the same column as her. A grade 2 or greater, sorry. So that matters for other plays I'll talk about shortly. And it's kind of just an extra body for her if she's here. Because you can call her out from Vanguard effect and then like call this in front of her or behind her, either or. Main reason though is good ride target. And this deck's grade 2 turn is kind of just nothing. At least in my opinion. Next up, we play the Playmaker of the deck. This is Sylvia. Sylvia says on place, Vanguard or Rearguard circle, counterblast 1, call 2 Silverthorns from your soul. That's it. She is how you make a board, and you can reset her and abuse her multiple times. You can even use her mid-battle phase. She's not like Melty in standard where she says like only during main phase, counterblast 1, call a card from hand draw. This is just your extender. That's all she is. You only need 3 because once you see 1 and she's in the soul, you'll have her forever. So you're fine. Power of Pale Moon. Next up, we play 2 Lillian. This card used to be a 4 of before standard Lukia got revealed. She is your grade 2 beatstick. She gains 10k if you have 4 or more Silverthorns with different names in your soul when she attacks. Rearguard only. But aside from that, she's just kind of a toolbox card. She says on place from hand, counterblast 1, tutor a Silverthorn, put it to soul. So if you need a certain piece and she lets you get there, she lets you get there. If she doesn't, she's a beatstick. You really just want to play her because of the Silverthorn name. Silverthorn name matters. Like I said, whenever this card soul charges 2 or more Silverthorns, you get the effect. So you just want to make sure you're seeing your Silverthorns. So for that reason, we don't run a non. We run 0 non-Silverthorn cards that aren't triggers. And then next up, the best card in the entire deck, in my opinion, Silverthorn Rising Dragon from Standard. This card, when placed on rearguard circle, tuck a card from your hand into the soul, draw a card. It is not mandatory, you may do it. That is already good. It builds you soul, filters your hand, and can help you put combo pieces into your soul. Like, let's say you have reverse in your hand and you have no way to put her to soul. Oh, call this, put this stuff from hand to the soul, which is something the deck really struggled before, was having pieces in hand and then putting them in soul without like overextending or wasting resources. This card fixed that. Also, if that wasn't good enough, it also is a 30k beat stick if you have a Vanguard Luke here. So it says same effect as V Luke here essentially. If 2 or more cards were called from soul this turn, plus 10, and then if 4 or more were called from soul this turn, plus 10. So 30k beat stick that fixes your soul, gives you filters so you can turn dead grade 3s in your hand into a shield, dig farther for triggers. All that is so very impressive from this card, and I think if you play this card at less than 4, you need to reevaluate your choices when playing this deck. Next, let's go into the grade 1s. So for Irina is the grade 1 that combos with Marika. I think her name. Bro, this card's name is funny. Green. That's what we're gonna call her. She basically has the exact same skill when rode upon, except you don't counterblast. So you look at top 3 when she's rode upon, put any number of Silverthorns into the soul, and put the rest on the bottom. If you put 2 or more Silverthorns, you draw a card. So if you ride this turn 1, and then you ride this on top, you're basically going to soul charge somewhere between 4 to 6, and potentially draw 2 cards, which is a lot of value for 1 counterblast. She also has a on rearguard effect. This is only when placed from hand. A lot of these cards, second effects, only trigger when placed from hand because they didn't want you like looping them. But this one is on place from hand. Look at top 2, put 1 to soul, put 1 on bottom. Pretty simple. Builds you soul. Lets you bottom stack if you don't shuffle. But that also can be bad because, you know, you see like over trigger and a heal, and you know, I gotta put the heal to soul, which is good in this deck. It's not a throw to put triggers into your soul due to G guards and another card we play, specifically heals. But yeah, she is just value, 8k booster, gets you soul. That's her whole job is soul. That is all this card is. Next, we play 3 Zelma. This is your fixer, is what I'm going to call her. She says on place from anywhere, because she's a GRO card, so they didn't think about this card. On place, if you have a Vanguard with Silverthorn in its name, put a rearguard, another rearguard into the soul, and call a rearguard with Silverthorn in its name out, but not a copy of her. So you can put Rising Dragon in off of her, and then just call it back out. So you can like you can keep filtering off of 1 card. And also you're building stacks from the call from soul off of these. So she is literally just oh hey, I need a board. Call some grade 1 Silverthorners, call a card I don't need. Put her to soul. Alright, call out Sylvia from soul. Sylvia counterblast, make call 2 cards from soul. She is your fix. She just says, alright, time to reset stuff. Very important card. You could play 4, you could play 2. I think 3 is the perfect number. I see it enough. Once I see... This is one of the cards I unironically don't want to see in my soul too often. I want to see like 1 to 2 in my soul. But I want a copy in hand most turns. Then next up, we play to Ana. Ana is the counter charge the deck got in the V collection sets. She says when rode upon, counter charge. So she basically makes Marika's ability free. She'll make Sylvia's ability free. She'll make Lillian's ability free. So her whole point was just to make your ride up free. Which is good because the deck does use a bit of counterblast to start setting up and get going. So she's not a bad ride. The main value of her, though, is when she's called by your Vanguard's ability, you can put her and another Rearguard to Soul and countercharge. So that means with green... Sorry, I keep going back in the stack so much. With green, both of their effects will proc at the same time because they're both on place from Soul. So you can call like this to like an XL or something, and then you can call this to the column off of Venus effect. Both of their effects trigger at the same time, so you can put these two to Soul first, countercharge, and then you can just call her back out from her effect, because she's a grade 2. Matters a lot if you only have one counterblast and you want to do the reverse turn, because you can do Venus counterblast, call these two from Soul, and something else over here, like, just say a Zelma. And then their effects will trigger, put these two in, countercharge, and then she'll come back out, and then you'll have the requirements for 2 and 1 already. So just put a 0 or a 3 back here, and then you can lock them ride reverse off of the 1 counterblast. So that's the main purpose of her. She's also mid-battle phase countercharge. It has to be specifically called by her Vanguard's ability. They did that to a lot of the V collection Silver Thorns. But it is still good enough to warrant running, because mid-phase countercharge is really important in a format where Hanali is existing right now. But yeah, this card is good at 2. I don't think I'd play more. I don't think I'd play less. Maybe 1. I don't know. Card's good enough. Next, we're into the 2 Rising Dragons. So this is the Rising Dragon from Standard, and then this is the Rising Dragon from V. V Rising Dragon is miles above better than this one, but this one is funny and can do stuff on Leotina turns. So this one says when it's called from Soul to the back row rearguard specifically, you can Soul Blast 1, give your Vanguard the red text, your front row rearguards get 5k. This is loopable with stuff like Zelma. So on the Leotina turn, you call out your whole board, call this, and then call like all three Zelmas out from your Soul, and you just put this in, put it back, put it in, put it out, and you fucking do the hokey pokey and you shake it all about. And you can get free power on a 2-card guard restrict turn that you can then reset a 3rd time with this card. So this card says when it boosts at the end of the battle, it boosts a rearguard with Silver Thorn in its card name. Counterblast 1, put it to Soul, the card you boosted to Soul, call a Silver Thorn out. It doesn't have to be the same column, just call one out. So you can loop your board. So you can loop this to give your board power. Then last attack of the Leotina reset, swing with this boosted. And then we call out like Sylvia from Soul, and we just call more rearguards. And like we can repopulate a board again. Like if we call Sylvia to the XL, and then counterblast 1, call 2 more from Soul. Like let's say we call like a Zelma or something, and then we have like Rising Dragon. Here we can call Rising Dragon from the Sylvia effect. I'm gonna go over this all later, so I'm gonna stop talking about it now so I can save Devlin time. Both of these cards are very good at 1-ofs. I've thought about putting this to 2, and I'll tell you about a card we can cut to put this to 2. Yeah, really good cards, guys. This card is really good, and if people don't know what this card do, oh my god, I'm losing brain cells. If people don't know what this card does, they're going to unexpect it, and they're going to lose because of it, because it's going to reset your board the 3rd time on Leotina. Next, we're going to go into the 2 1-ofs that I play. We play the G starter, Lilette. Lilette is countercharge, end of turn, which is very nice. She also recurs grade 3s. She does not say grade 3 with Silverthorn, so you can remember how I was talking about putting heals to Soul earlier? You can put the grade 3 heal guardians into Soul and then pick them back up with this later. So end of turn, the ideal thing is both of their effects activate for her and Dorian. So you can use Dorian effect and this effect at the same time. So her effect, you'll tuck these. She tucks herself and another Rear Guard in soul at end of turn. And then you countercharge, and then you can add a grade 3 from soul to hand. So you can do that at end of turn. Put them in, countercharge. Let's just say add this back to hand. And then Dorian effect, put like the other like 5 into your soul, draw 2, add another grade 3 from soul to hand with Silver Thorn in its name. Really nice that we have countercharge at the end phase. It just helps us recur resources. None of our G guards take counterblast, but it is very nice to have. And then as the other one of this card is the iffy slot. I think this card is good if you're going into events blind and you don't know what other people play and other people don't know what you play. But if you're playing with friends and they know you play this card, then the whole point of this card is basically ruined. If you're playing this deck just for friends and you don't plan on taking it to competitive events, you can definitely just swap this out for a second copy of this. I have no issue with that. The whole reason we play this card is when it's called from your soul by your Vanguard's ability, the Viera thing, tuck any player Rearguard to soul, and he gets 15k. He's a grade 4 0k base. But he removes Hanali if people leave it on the board, which most people will against Pale Moon, because Pale Moon doesn't have ways to get rid of Hanali unless it's Hari. There's technically Chelsea and Nightmare Dolls, but you have to be on a worker raid Vanguard, which means that they are not striding or they're going Beatrix, I think her name is, the grade 4 Nightmare Doll shred, which you're fine with anyways as like the person with Hanali, because that means their turn's not really anything. And Hari will do Tricky Assistant, but when they're against this, they're like, if they've played against Pale Moon before, they're like, oh, they don't have an answer to Hanali, we're just gonna sit them all in the back. Well, this card answers that for you. That is the whole purpose of this card. You would not play this card if Hanali wasn't so prevalent right now. That is the only reason I play this card. Still a very good one of though. It's also a Silver Thorn name, so. Next we're going to get into triggers. I play 4 heal guards. You want the grade 3 over the counter charge ones or the soul charge ones that got errated, specifically for Lilette, because like I said, you can add grade 3s from soul to hand. So being able to pick up heals from your soul is a very busted effect. And heal guards are nice stop rush, stop aggro decks, because you only need 1 to 2 CB on your grade 3 turn. So next we play 4 draw PGs. As you guys saw, I don't play Sanctitude. Sanctitude is a personal preference. If you wanted to, you could cut the grade 4 dragon and play a Sanctitude, make this another trigger. But you have a G-Guard that lets you guard from soul, and the value of seeing these in your soul off of like soul charges or things where you can like put them into your soul to set up for later, and then G-Guard to PG get around guard restricts from your soul, is very strong. And I think the draws are just always helpful. Keeping a really fat hand is really nice in this deck. I just think that the 4th draw is better. If you agree, awesome. If you disagree, I completely understand. Sanctitude's very good. Helps your DP matchup. Helps with card restrict as well. So I completely understand if you want to play a Sanctitude. I just think the draws are better. Then we play 4 Stride crit. You want to Stride. Crits are good. End of discussion. Then we play 3 G Lukier crits. I think her name's Dixie. Yeah, Silverthorn Assistant Dixie. She's a 10k shield, 5k power. So you're like, oh well, that sucks. But her effect is what like really sells her. She's a Silverthorn name. So if you soul charge her off of the soul charge effects that start charge Silverthorns to draw, she counts, which is really good. She counts for cards that check number of Silverthorns in soul. She is a Silverthorn you can call from soul off of effects. She is busted. She is a searchable crit with your name that has an effect. She says once per turn, or not once once per turn, but it's per copy. So, act, put her back on top of your deck. Call any card from your soul with Silver Thorn in its name, if you have a Vanguard Luke here. And then you shuffle your deck. So she not only goes back to deck, she's a crit that goes back to deck, but she also completely makes a board for you, because you're just going to call Sylvia. Or you're going to call some other thing that's going to make you call another Sylvia or something. Or she'll help you meet requirements for Venus. This card is way too good to not play, and people are like, well, where are your damage draws as crits? We don't play Hari, so they are bricks in our hand. They are literally just 15k shields. Which, I mean, don't get me wrong, 15k shield's nice, because there's only 10k. But I don't think the deck has an issue with drawing cards, especially when you have Dorian and you have Rising Dragon to being able to filter. And you're an Excel deck. So, you don't really have issues drawing. If anything, the deck out could be an issue. This also helps prevent deck out, so you can be really greedy with Dorian and draw multiple times off of like protecting her and keeping her alive effects. Also means you could dig a lot more with Rising Dragon to make sure you're getting the cards you want in your soul. This card is too good not to play. I'm sorry, it really is. I've had discussions with people, they're like, well, play fronts, because there is Silverthorn fronts, but they are vanillas from V. There are Silverthorn crits, I think there's Silverthorn draws, I think there's Silverthorn heals. But we want heal guards, we want them to be grade 3. Fronts are nice, but the deck doesn't need them anymore whenever we got Rising Dragon, because we just have 2 to 3 big beat sticks, and that's good enough for us, because we get to reset them. And then we don't play draws, because if they're not a draw PG, they're typically bad, because 5k shield sucks. But yeah, so good card. Next is the Overtrigger. This can be any of the 3 in my opinion. I'm not gonna say the trial deck OT because I don't think it's as good as this or the blue one. But this could be Galmageld or the Dark States one. Same card but different names. It could be this one or it could be the blue one. I think the main ones for talking about are this one and Galmageld. This gives something the ability 100 million restand it in a battle. So normally your board is big dragon, Luke here, so like big lady, and then like a Sylvia who's like 14. So what if we made the 14k Sylvia a now 100 million punch? Oh, by the way, this is like a 40k rearguard column, 40k rearguard column, 32k on the Excel. Having the value of making your weenies scary with this is too good. You do have a rewriting Vanguard, so I understand Galmageld being good. I just don't think it matters enough. I think this is more pressure, especially if you hit crits. These just load on crits onto something that's going to restand twice. So yeah, that's the main deck. We are going to get into the strides. I'm going to start this off with the card that I have proxied because I have it in another deck and I'm too lazy to take it out. Love you, Devlin. This is Messiah. Start of the game, if you went second, reveal this card to your opponent in your G zone, get the Guardian Shield. I'm sure you guys know what it does. Excuse me. Good card. And yeah, it's kind of a thing for LJ, but I don't think it really is. You can argue with me on that all you want, but I'm like, anytime I have to stride this against LJ, I'm just like, oh yay, I unlocked all my cards for you to kill them for me. Woo. Plus we have another stride that kind of deals with LJ. So first off, we play 3 Dark Lord. 3 could be overkill, most lists play 2. But I like the value of this card if the game goes really long just to have it. This card is stupid. I don't know why it doesn't have like a CB cost or a Soul Blast cost or a discard a card cost to stride or ride or whatever. End of the battle, she attacked. Turn a card face up in your G zone. And then stride a face up card in your G zone with the Magia ability with drive -2. And then if you do, call her to rearguard. Why she's a Vanguard that then calls herself to rear that gives you another Vanguard attack makes no sense to me for free. But she does. So That's her job. This is my reason you can run the Dark States OT. Um, who knew getting 4 drive checks a turn for free was good. Next we play 1 Yvette. You don't ever need more than 1 copy of this card because she says ride a stride/ride a face-up card with Magia. So if you have already gone into this off of this, you can just do it again. Just turn a different card face up. Yvette says on attack, put a card from hand in a soul. If you did, make an imaginary gift excel. And then call a card from your soul to that rearguard spot, and it gets plus 15k till end of turn. End of turn, put it back in your soul. You turn up a card for this, in case I didn't say that. So that's your farm stride, typically. This is my, if I went second option normally. If I didn't get my 3 excels, this is what I like to do. Yeah, who knew, like, getting free cards is for free with no cost is good. Shout out to these two. Next, we play Hari, 3 Masquerade Master Hari. This card used to be banned / choice restricted with Alice. I got that lifted though. But screw Nightmare Dolls. This deck's better and way cooler. No biased. He says counterblast 1. On attack, put 2 regards into your soul. Specifically cards on your circles. So you can put lock cards into the soul with this because he just says cards on your circles. So he's like sort of your LJ answer. Keyword is sort. I said sorta because you're still an Excel deck against Link Joker. This is unironically the best Pale Moon deck into Link Joker in my opinion because you can just loop your soul on the rearguard circles that you have if they like lock you out and you like leave them with no board next turn to lock. That's the real thing this card does against LJ is he basically resets your board against them, so they have to work extra hard next turn. But then you can just like loop dragons to get them as big beat sticks or like Luke Here's. So even if they take away your excels, you can still hit. Counterblast 1 on attack, turn up a copy, so it's Persona Flip. So the reason we're playing 3 is you can turn up the first one off of Dark Lord because he has a card with a Magia ability. Stride him, and then on attack, turn up the second copy. And then when you next turn go Dark Lord again, you can just ride the one that's already face up and then flip the third copy. Counterblast 1, put 2 regards into the soul, call 3 out. End of turn, they all go back in. He's very strong for pressure, and he extends for us, so good card. We love him. He's the boy. Next, we play 1 Leotina. You could argue to play 2, you could argue to play 0, but I don't think that's correct. This card feels like it was meant for Silver Thorns, and I really truly mean that in the sense that this card is essentially a Silverthorn card because it resets your board, which was Silverthorn's whole gimmick. On attack, counterblast 1, discard a card, put all of your rearguards into your soul, and then for every one you call out 2. So if we call 2 rearguards and we put them in, we then call 4. If we call 5, we call 10. If we put 10 in, we call 20. Why that's only CB1 discard a card is, to me, no idea. But then if that wasn't good enough, she also says if you called 4 cards with different grades, so 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4, 1, 2, 3, or whatever you gotta do, your opponent gets 2 card guard restrict till end of turn. Why that's fair, I don't know. This normally just ends games if they're at 4 unless they hit OT. Hell, even 3. This card is very, 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 very dumb. But I love it. So, yeah. Next, we play 1 Dust. This is the change in my list. You guys will see if you watch Devlin's Premium 101 3-hour video, the one for introducing you to clans. I added this in recently. Mainly because I picked it up recently, but also because I was tired of having situations where I'm like, oh, if I could dust, I would kill them. Mainly specifically against DP, because that deck gets a lot of shield, and it's very, 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 very annoying to deal with. This can just kind of kill DP. That's the main reason we play this card, I'm gonna be honest. Shout out to Anderson Williams, the guy who used the DP list for Devlin in the video as well. Good friend of ours. He loves DP, and I hate DP, so I want to make him mad as much as I can. God, my voice is going. It is late. I hope you guys know what dust is. I don't want to explain it. Thank you. Love you guys. Then we go into the G guards. We play 3 of this. This is my other change. This is your Denial Griffin play / interaction play. You put any number of cards from your hand into the soul when you guard with this. If you put 2 or more, he gets 10k for every card you do. So he turns your dead grade 3s in your hand that you're going to draw a bajillion of into shield. That's his main value. That's his real purpose. Best G guard ever. But also, if you put 2 or more, your opponent chooses a standing regard, puts it to soul. It is your opponent's choice, so it's easier to work around for them. But if people like don't expect it or they forget to play around it, it taxes them hard. Also makes their attack lines be a little wonky sometimes. Sometimes they'll want to swing something, but they're like, oh wait, I can't, because then they're going to put that other thing in. So yeah, really good. Really helps against Grand Blue, because if they're going to do the Night Storm thing, where they call at the end of battle, but they have to swing the other column first, because they need to get a maximum value. Use guard with this, hope they don't have a standing regard. Hell, if they have 2 standing regards, do it twice. Main reason I bumped it to 3 was I found myself having turns where I'd do it twice and then I want it again for another turn. Next we play 2 of the Dragon. The Dragon is the card I was talking about earlier that helps you guard from Soul. So on place on Guardian Circle, Soul charge 1, call a card from your Soul, put it on Guardian Circle. Very simple. But giving you PGs from your Soul, very good, very free. In case you Soul charge triggers, good to get them out and use them as shield. And then we play 1 of the Magician. He's just 30k shield. I almost said 30k beat stick. If you have 4 cards with different grades in your soul, he gets 15k G flip, G guard. He's just there. Yeah, so that's the deck. I am gonna go over some lines with you guys. I'm gonna try to make it quick, because I know I've been going on for a while. I just like talking about this deck, and I'm very excited when I play this deck, and I like showing it off to people. So I'm going to go over some lines with you guys, and I'll show you some ideal turns / situations. Alright guys, so I'm going to quickly show off to you guys the Venus turn. So start of turn, you're going to ride Venus, make your Excel, draw a random card you don't care about. You probably do care. We're just going to say your board's empty, you did literally nothing, this is your hand. I'm going to try to space this out for you guys. It's relative to proportions. We're going to counterblast 1 for Venus effect. Discard a card. Call to your front row, so 1, 2, 3. We'll call this. We'll call a big beat stick and a big beat stick. Actually, instead of this beat stick, I lied to you all. Haha, I love you. We're just going to call this. And yeah, so on place is activate. On place, we're going to call, let's do a grade 3. And then on place, tuck a rearguard to soul, so we tuck something on their board. And then on place, we'll put a card from our hand into the soul, and then draw a card. Let's just say we draw a grade 1, because that's the grade we're missing for the back row. Grade 1 or 0 or 3. We move this back, call this, we'll look at the top 2, put this to soul, put this on bottom, blah blah blah. I'm just going over things, making sure you guys read your cards, do effects correctly. Next, in soul, we have a copy of Lucia Reverse right there, sitting right there. We're going to counterblast 1, lock a 2, 4, and a 1, ride her as your Vanguard, draw a card. We're just gonna start adding some cards so I can give you guys a board state here. Make an Excel, so you'll draw a card, and then after that you can just call beat sticks or cards to hit with. So going first, you're getting to do this, and if you're like a real champ, this isn't on your board at all. It's another one of her or of him, and then like this can be whatever. Ideally, it's a copy of Luke, another dragon. It could be Lillian. Something that hits. That's all that really matters. That's all we care about. Then we do our twin drive. Oh my god, we're so good at the game, guys. We did it. Oh, crit OT. And then at the end of the turn, everything unlocks. So you swing at them. Blah, 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 blah. These are like 35k rear guards. End of the turn, everything unlocks. Venus effect was still on standby from earlier, so you tuck all your rear guards into the soul still for that effect. And then since you put 4 or more in, you make another imaginary gift excel. And then you draw another card. You get to do all that going first. For like 2 CB. There's a reason Percival's banned, guys. Percival's way more flexible than this though. So that's like your good write-up turn. I mean, like, this was just a demonstration. Obviously, not all boards are perfect. Not all states are perfect. It's a one of. You'll never see it, Logan. It's a one of. You'd be very surprised with how much soul charging you can do very early. How much flexible charging soul manipulation you can do early. Technically, on that turn, if I had 2 CB and I had a Lillian, I could have tutored her with the Lillian counterblast from hand. And then instead of calling out like a dragon, I could have called this instead to countercharge. Very good turn, very strong turn. Yeah, I'm gonna show you guys the Leotina turn, and then I'm gonna stop talking and let Devlin handle his channel and not me. Alright guys, so this is the Leotina turn. Setup is unrealistic that your soul's this fat. It's not like uncommon, but I just kind of threw the deck there and did some damage. We're gonna pitch your stride. Come here, G-Zone. If you guys can't tell, I'm very tired. It's like 5 AM, but I love you guys. So, also love my buddy Devlin. We're going to stride Leotina. Then with our hand being like this, we can just call Sylvia here. Counterblast. Call 2 cards from Soul. Oh wow. This really cool big dragons here. Oh, what's that? Big lady. Okay. On place, we're gonna put this to Soul. Draw some random card we don't care about as long as the deck isn't that low. Then we can, since we have this, we can just call this, put this to Soul, put some other card we don't care about in our hand. And now we have 4 rear guards. So ideally, like, you have a little more to call, like you have something else here, but like, fuck it. There's your card. This is my card in hand. So first off, we have 2 cards were called from Soul this turn. So 10k, 10k, 10k. We'll just start small. 12, 14, 20 here, 22, 25. There's 5 attacks. Swing, counterblast 1. Pitch, put 5 in. We'll call 5 out. So we're gonna call this, because we're gonna say they're a super swag Honolulu player. We're gonna call this, we're gonna call this, we're gonna call this, we're gonna call this. There is an argument here to save this, and that is completely fine by me if we want to have that argument. So we'll call, like, I don't know, some grade 3 I don't care about. There she is. So we've called 3, 4, 2. We need a 1 and a 0. We really just need a 1 or a 0. We'll call this dragon here. This one is important. And then we can call this 0. And then we still get to call one more thing. So we'll just call an 8k booster. Simple enough. On place, we're going to tuck that Honolulu into the Soul that they have, because they totally have it, trust me. We're going to call this 0 back here because she is the least powerful, just booster-wise, but your Vanguard's already attacking, so. You get your triple drive, crit, crit, crit. We're Giga Chad, we high-rolled them. Now we get to do stuff like swing. This is the grade 1 dragon line. I'm just showing you guys something simple. The other dragon line's a weird loop thing that you have to do, and it's annoying. But it's really funny. And basically makes defensive useless. So we'll say this is just 17. This is 20. This is 27. This is, we'll just swing the 30 because we kind of want to keep the booster for the second time. And then this one is 38 because you need to boost this. Into the battle it attacked, or boosted, counterblast, put this in. We're going to call out a Silver Thorn. Sylvia, how'd you get here? On place Sylvia, counterblast. Call Zelma and Zelma. I guess we could have boosted. We could have boosted. Haha. Zelma. On place of Zelma, put this in. Call it back out. On place of Zelma, put this in. Call it back out. On place, counterblast. Call Dragon and Zelma. This will make a column that's 14, so if they haven't hit a trigger, it still hits. On place, put this in. Call this out. So you just reset your board a third time now. And they're still under 2 card guard. So we had 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 attacks. Well, yes, it does blow through CB. It did blow through 5. You can also just not do as much as I did. Like, let's say you already have enough cards in hand and you don't have to use Sylvia to make a board. That's 1 CB you save for the first time. And then if they hit a defensive, so Sylvia and some other stuff doesn't hit and you didn't have the grade 1 dragon to give them power, you can just use the Zelmas off the first Sylvia to reset 2 dragons in front of the Zelmas as boosters. Or you can make like a column out of Zelmas if they haven't hit. There's a lot of ifs, ands, or buts in Pale Moon. But yeah, guys, this is my profile. Thank you guys for watching it. I know it's going to be a long one. Sorry, Devlin. If you guys sit through it, awesome. I really appreciate you. If you guys want to comment anything, I'll be sure to watch it and read it. Same thing if you guys have any questions. Asking about card preferences, asking my opinion on things in the deck, matchup knowledge, anything like that, I'll be happy to answer it for you. But yeah, guys, that's going to be it for this video. Make sure to check out my sponsor, Team Kingslayer Cards. Thank you to Richard and everybody on that team. You guys are honestly one of my tightest groups in the world. And I say that as someone who I've known that group for sub 2 years, maybe a little over 3. As I'm relatively new to Vanguard. I started playing when Evergrowth came out. So I love the team. I love everybody on that team. I love those guys to death. Love Devlin. Thank you for having me. It's great to be here representing decks that don't get love. That's my job. So I'm sure you guys will see me again on other decks that are not as popular. Oh my god, I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, Devlin, if anybody asks, I'm the bug guy, because I am. I'm warning you. But thank you guys for watching, seriously, it means a lot. Make sure to use code SCHOLAR at checkout for when you're ordering Kingslayer cards. Check out Dank Ritual, Devlin's sponsor. I've used a lot of product before, and it's really nice. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.